It's very important to commemorate all the victims of the Holocaust, be it Jews, be it Roma and Sinti. That's why we are here today in Auschwitz. Especially now in the era in Europe when we see anti-Semitism and anti-Gypsyism on the rise, we have to take proper lesson from the history. And history is full of atrocity, full of blood, full of horrible things which we are, at least me, I am unable to understand how this could have happened. But as a politician, I want to understand the sources, the reasons, how it started, to be able to recognize what to do now. Because now we see the dangerous development in several member states, and we have to stop it by all means. That's why it's so important that there is a cooperation and solidarity within the society. It's not only the task for the European Union institutions, but also, of course, member states, for the civil society, for the media, and also for the education. Educational system should be able to better explain the young generation what happened in the last century, and to be able to explain that each individual deserves the dignity, that we have equality in front of the law, that nobody should be persecuted because of the color of skin, because of race, because of the sexual orientation. Some years ago, I myself thought that this is a clear thing. Now we see that we have to repeat it again and again and take lessons from the history.
And Madam Commissioner, how do you see the Commission addressing the structural issues in it? In the last several years, the Commission have done a lot, and certainly a lot of more work need to be done. How do you see the future in terms of institutional and structural racism throughout Europe, even in the European institutions at point?
From the European Commission point of view, I think we did a lot, but of course we should have done more, and we have to do more in the future. We use all the instruments we have in hands. We have the legislation. We need to be better in enforcement of the legislation. We have the funding possibilities. We are supporting the civil society organizations. We are funding training programs for different professions. To be able to recognize that this is it, that this is the discrimination which can lead to some kind of atrocity which we saw in the last century. So we are doing a lot, but we have to do more, and we must be vigilant. We must be able to mobilize also our society, not to be passive, because as we saw it in the history, passivity was one of the enabling factors.